It's a great honor to be here. All of those things that have been said about Parthi so far are absolutely true, and that's why he's going to be a terrific trustee in your area. I want to first of all express my gratitude as a politician for all of you being here to take part in the democratic process, because this is part of the democratic process. Without people to come around a candidate and throw their support, their time, their money, their energy behind a candidate, the democratic process can't work. So you are very much part of that grassroots, and thank you very, very much for doing that. And I'm going to come back to this, but I want to tell you briefly, when I first ran for school trustee in 1994, I ran against a long-time incumbent, and I lost by 72 votes. Okay, so I want you to hold that number, 72 votes. I'm going to come back to that as I close, because it was not very many votes to lose by, and I want to make sure that doesn't happen with Parthi. So I want to just comment on why I think it's so important that Parthi has chosen to run for school board. You've heard all the great things that have been said about Parthi, and they're all absolutely true. He and I have had a number of conversations. He's got a solid value system. He understands how to connect with people. He's honest. He's articulate. He's great looking, which is a good thing in a candidate. And that's right. He's beautiful. That's right. So all of those things are very, very true. But he, therefore, could choose to run for provincial politics. He could run for city council. He could run for federal politics, because he's got all of those attributes. But he has chosen to run for the school board. And I think that is a wonderful thing. I think that the school board, Bob Spencer was on the Toronto Board of Education many years ago, I will say, Bob. We're about the same age, that's right. And the Toronto Board of Education is an extremely important institution in the country. The Toronto District School Board is a very important institution in the country. It is the biggest school board in Canada. It is the most diverse school board in Canada. It has been a beacon for how to develop policies of equity. Now, I have to say, I will take credit as the former Minister of Education for putting in an equity policy at the provincial level that Bob Rae had put in place when he was the Premier. The next government, led by Mr. Harris, took that equity policy out of the Ministry of Education, and we put it back in. And at that level, we have now some of the policies that have always been in place at the Toronto Board level. So the point I'm trying to make is that the Toronto District School Board is extremely important in leading the way in these issues for the country. And folks, this is a very important time in our history in Canada. If you look at what's happening across the country, look at the discussions that are going on in different parts of the province. I had the opportunity to be in Quebec a few weeks ago, and we were talking obviously with Premier Charest and some of the members of the Quebec cabinet, and there are things happening, there are discussions happening about freedom of expression and women's clothing, the way that people can express themselves, can deport themselves in public, that are going to be, they're kind of a signal to us as Canadians that our multiculturalism is going to a different level. We're going to have some difficult discussions. We recently had a conversation about sex education in Ontario, and we talked, at that point, and I know it's a difficult subject, and I'm not going to ask that we broach it right now, but I want you to know that when we talk about a multicultural society, we are going to bump up against these difficult issues. Parthi is the kind of person who can help us, who can lead us through those conversations, because they will not happen easily, and they will not happen unless there are people who are very intentional about putting the issues in front of their community, the broad community, and helping them through it. So Parthi is that kind of person. He's also young. And that's important. And I say that as a 57-year-old woman, mother of children who are probably the same age as Parthi. It is extremely important that we have people, and we've seen it here tonight, we've seen young people here speaking on behalf of this candidate, and that is extremely important. So I want to just thank all of you. I think it's just wonderful that Parthi has taken this on. He will be a great trustee on the Toronto District School Board. And now I want to come back to the 72 votes. Parthi's a great organizer. You can see that from this gathering here tonight. But if on election day he doesn't have people to go into the apartment buildings, to go to each house, to make sure that the people who have said they will vote for him, that they actually go and vote for him, then he could lose by 72 votes or 10 votes or 2 votes. He has to win by 1 vote. So we need you all on election day. Is it October 25th? October 25th. We need you all to be available with your friends and family. Often trustee campaigns do not get the attention that they should. This is an important trustee election. This is an important trustee campaign. So on election day, we'll all be there. It's called pulling the vote. We'll be pulling the vote for Parthi, so he'll go over the top by thousands of votes. Thanks, everyone, and all the best, Parthi.